Men who like to keep their morning routine simple will love these multi for him gummies, specially formulated with 12 key nutrients designed to support men's daily nutritional needs. Nature Made Multi for Him gummies help support muscle and bone health. It improves your immune health and it increases your energy metabolism. With the quality you can trust, Nature Made Multi for Him gummies have no artificial flavors, no synthetic dyes, no high fructose corn syrup, no artificial sweeteners, and is gluten-free. Pharmacists around the world have recommended Nature Made to be the #1 vitamin and supplement brand. So when you need something that's going to help you get you through the day, when you need something that's going to increase your energy to help you get you through that workout, to make you perform as an elite athlete at the top of your ability, try Nature Made Multi for Him gummies, because you don't want to stop
to the 12th round. It'll help if I took my mic on. Look, I usually have a guy that helps me with all this stuff, but he got some things going on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your boy Roosevelt, the man who likes to fight. And right now, as you can see, I'm solo dolo and I'm already screwing up because I'm not used to working all the boards and stuff. We got somebody who usually does that. My man Brian Renegade usually handles all this. But ladies and gentlemen, we got a guest tonight. Let me tell you something about this guest we have right here on the show tonight. I'm going to put it to you like this. A lot of things that you see in the professional wrestling right now, including especially WWE, would not be possible had it not been for this man right here. Okay? A lot of stars you guys get to see, a lot of guys you get to idolize, you buy his shirts and everything, are because of this man right here. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you the one and only Rudy boy Gonzalez. What's going on, boss?
Hey, first of all, I'd like to just remind everybody that this is being brought to you by Nature Made. There you go. I saw your commercial and I was like, hey, wait a minute. I do that also. I do the B12. I also have a lot of different the vitamins, but right now I have the B12, but I use that all the time, man.
Man, shout out to Nature Made, making everybody healthy worldwide.
There you go.
How's things going on with you, man? How's everything down in Texas?
Things are going great. Let me thank you for that big introduction. I mean, you put it on a little thick there, but I mean, I appreciate it. I do what I can with these guys, and I enjoy what I do. And I was talking to somebody the other day about this, and they were asking about um, have you? Because I've been doing this since I was 18. So they said, have you ever worked another job? And I'm like, nope, always done this. And I mean, I've had like a couple of landscaping jobs, and it lasted like a day or two, or maybe worked at a call center for a couple of weeks or something. But this is what I've been doing for since I was 18 years old. So then they were asking, well, don't you feel like, don't you get tired of this or what? I'm like, no, man, I love it. If you're doing something you love, you don't work a day in your life. And I don't feel like I've ever worked a day in my life. I've been doing this and I enjoy it.
That is amazing. I don't think we've ever had anybody on the show that said that this is all they've ever done. Um, what got you into professional wrestling in from the start?
So when I was younger, my dad, I mean, we all probably have the same story. Um, my dad would watch wrestling late at night. The only problem was I wasn't into wrestling, and so maybe I watched wrestling on TV with my dad every now and then. Not every night. And down here we had Southwest Championship Wrestling with Joe Blanchard and Tully Blanchard and Wahoo McDaniel and so around, and then it came on at midnight down here in San Antonio. So I was already asleep. Every now and then I'd be awake and I'd watch it with my dad or whatever. My dad took me to a couple of shows here in San Antonio. I really wasn't interested to be very honest. I wasn't interested in pro wrestling.
Mm.
Um, and then at the time, this was like we're talking about the mid early '70s. So that's a long time ago. So
Right.
San Antonio was kind of like a little tight sports community. So there was a semi-pro football team here called the San Antonio Toros, and their coach was George Pasterchek. And he had players on his team named Joe Benarski and Frank Goodish and a couple of other guys. And so me and my dad did go see the football games. And then when I went to high school, my high school football coach was George Pasterchek.
Mm.
So he was a very disciplinarian type coach. He taught me a lot about football. My after I got out of high school and college, I was going to be a high school football coach at my high school. Um, so I graduated. I went to I played football in college, Ranger Junior College, and then I came home for the Christmas break. I went to go see. So when I came home, my dad actually had a stroke. So I left school a little early because my dad was sick, and
Mm.
so I went to visit my high school, see all the friends I had that were now seniors and stuff. And my coach asked me, what are you going to do while you're out of school? And I'm like, I don't know. And back at the time, like now we have like 20 um, Planet Fitnesses, and we have 10 Goals gyms and Crunch Fitness, and back then we didn't have that stuff. It was there are a couple of big gyms, but there was like $50 a month or something like that. And my parents weren't going to pay $50 for me to go train there for a couple of weeks. So I told my coach, I don't know. I don't know what to do. He said, well, I have a friend of mine who's opening a wrestling school. And he said, I'm not telling you to get into professional wrestling. Just go there and train with the guys. I know some of the wrestlers, and just tell the guy that that you're one of my players.
Mm.
I said, who do I ask for? He said Joe Blanchard. So I said, all right. So I went, and Joe Blanchard was a promoter. He had, um, the promotion run and stuff. So they started wrestling school the second day of January of 1982. And that was a Saturday. So I go in the office, and the lady there, her name was Charlotte, and she's like, "Can I help you?" I said, "I'm here to talk to Joe Blanchard about joining the wrestling school." And she said, "Did you already pay?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, we're starting a class today, but it's $2,500 or or something like that, and you have to pay before you start. And I said, well, my football coach told me to come by and talk to Joe. And so she said, well, he's not here right now. And I'm like, all right. She goes, come back Monday or something, and maybe he'll be here. But then I hear in the back of the office area, I hear, who's your football coach? And so, I said, George Pasterchek. And the voice goes, how's old George doing? And I'm like, he's fine. He goes, come on back here. So the office was like it was a maze of 3 or 4 different offices. So I had to like go through 2 other offices to get to Joe's, and Joe's office was in the very back of the building. And he was sitting there drinking, I don't know, orange juice, coffee, I don't know. And he had his feet up on the desk. And he said, how can I help you? And I said, I played football for Coach Pasterchek. I played college football and at Ranger Junior College. And my dad had a stroke, so I came home. And he said, well, next door, we're doing our wrestling school. You're more than welcome to join if you want. And I had shorts and T-shirt. I said, can I start today? He said, sure. So that's how I started. I went in the office, and I tell people I went in the office to get into pro wrestling, and I've never left, man. I've never left.
That's an amazing story. What was it like for you with the transition from going from a football player to a professional wrestler? Like, how was the transition in terms of the training? Because I know the training now is like totally different from what you may have been going through, like in the power plant days and of that nature. So what was it like for you?
So back then, so the football, we'll start with the football practice. So Ranger, Texas in August was like in 1982. It was the days were like 101, 102, 103 degrees, and nothing out there. And so the first day of practice, the coach said, he said something like, hey guys, I got some good news. And we're all in the locker room like, what's going on? What's up? What's up, coach? What's up? He said, there's 103 of you guys, and that's a good, I got a good team here. And he was like talking to stuff and stuff, and we're in the locker room. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hoo, that type of stuff. And then he said something like, I only got 75 uniforms. He said, so we're going to run till I have enough uniforms for everybody. And so we really weren't too sure what that meant. But what it meant was we went out in the field and we ran laps. We ran sprints. We did bear crawls. We ran upstairs. Anything he could think of, we did whatever we could in the middle of the sun 2 days until guys dropped down and we were down to 75 players. It was tough. And then so we played the season, and then the wrestling part was a guy named Larry Lane, and the way it was put together was Joe had the ring in the building, and then he had actual wrestling mats on the floor. Mm-hmm. And so again, this is 1982, so we weren't allowed to even touch the ring. We weren't allowed in the ring. We weren't allowed to grab the ropes, shake them, do all that stuff. Everything that we did was on the mats, and it was just strictly wrestling, just takedowns, throws, just wrestling. And the way it was supposed to be was that was for 3 months, and whoever survived would move on to the intermediate group, which was you'd get in the ring and learn bumps and learn rolls and run the ropes, and you would do that for 3 months. Except the guy Larry Lane, he was only there for 4 months. So some of the guys were able to get in the ring. I was able to get in the ring, but I wasn't supposed to be there for that long. I was only supposed to go and train for 2 weeks because football school was going to start the middle of January. So the Wednesday before I was going to go back to school, a guy named Juan Reynosa came in the building, and he asked everybody, who's Rudy Gonzalez? And so everybody pointed at me. Juan was he wasn't like a bodybuilder type guy, but he was just one of those guys you just didn't mess with. Mm. And so when he came in, he was a referee, and he would also wrestle. And he was a pretty tough dude. And so when he came in looking for me, I was like, oh shit, what did I do? So everybody points to me, and he goes, "I need to talk to you." So we go outside, and he goes, "What are you doing Thursday night?" This was like Wednesday. He goes, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I said, "Nothing." And he said, "You want to make some money?" I said, "Sure." He goes, "All right, meet me here at the building at 9 o'clock in the morning. We're going to go to Corpus Christi, and you're going to help with the ring." And so Corpus Christi, Texas, was every Thursday, and so all right. So I met up with him. We went to Corpus. On the way over there, he bought a case of beer, and when he put it in the truck, I was like, "I don't drink," and I told him, "I don't drink," and he said, "This ain't for you." I was like, "Oh, all right." So, I mean, he drank the whole case. Corpus Christi is about 120 miles from San Antonio. So he drank the whole case driving over there. And so by the time we get to the building, we were in the the Memorial Coliseum in Austin, Texas. And you could drive into the building to set the ring up. And he did. And he backed the ring up to where he backed the trailer up to where it's supposed to be. And so he gets out and he sits in one of the chairs. He says, "All right, undo those chains, put that pole here, put that pole there, take that rail off, take that board off, tighten this up, tighten it." And so basically the first day that I worked for the company that I did that, I basically put the ring up by myself.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, and then so we did that, and then the beach was, I mean, the beach is right across the street. So I got to spend the rest of the day at the beach until like about 5 o'clock, and we had to be back at the building. So then my job was supposed to be security for one of the back doors and make sure fans don't come in through the back door and stuff. And so, but from where I'm sitting at, I could see the ring, and so in Corpus, it was an old school type setup. The lights were all on, but once the matches started, the lights went out, and there was one light above the ring, and that's all you could see was the ring. And so, I mean, to this day, I can't remember what the card was. I do remember the main event was Tully Blanchard and Wahoo McDaniel, and those guys. I remember Tiger Conway Jr. was there. I remember Gino Hernandez was there. Ivan Putski was there. Larry Lane. I want to say one of the Funks, Dory or Terry. And after that, I'm not too sure. But the main event was Wahoo and Tully. And so, still, my wrestling just wasn't appealing to me until that match. And Wahoo and Tully Blanchard beat the heck out of each other, man, for whatever it did, 30 minutes. I mean, chops and kicks. And I mean, knowing what I know now, it's like, holy cow, man. They just went out there and did the deal. And I can't tell you what it was. I can't tell you what happened. But that night, taking the ring down, I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
And so then Joe Blanchard walked by and he said, "Can you walk with me to the car, please?" And I said, "Sure." So I walked him to the car. Joe Blanchard had a Halliburton case, like the Money in the Bank thing they have.
Uh-huh. I think we had a small technical difficulty maybe on Rudy's side. Let's give us a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen. He may be able to come back. He may be getting a phone call. But what a story so far. Let's answer some of these comments on Facebook. Amp Dominic. Shout out to Amp Dominic. Rudy is an amazing promoter. Yes, absolutely. I've heard nothing but really good things about Rudy and his time as everything he does as a promoter right now. Let's see. Hopefully Rudy will be able to come back on. Yeah, we lost him. All right, we're going to give him a couple minutes, ladies and gentlemen, see if Rudy is able to come back on. But in the meantime, in between time, let's catch up on some things from the professional wrestling standpoint. So WWE is moving and shaking, and I don't think it's really shaking too much. And when Rudy comes back on, we're going to be able to get his opinion on the state of WWE and of what it is right now versus the time that he was there as a trainer. And we'll be able to talk to him about different wrestlers that he has trained that you guys are watching on TV as of right now. So once Rudy comes back on, we'll be able to finish the rest of his story. Hopefully everything is okay on his end, and then we will continue. But while we're waiting for Rudy, if you're watching right now on the Best Damn Wrestling Podcast, go ahead and drop some questions in the comments for me or Mr. Rudy. Whenever he comes back on, if you got a question for Rudy Gonzalez, go ahead and drop a comment right there down in there for me, and we'll make sure that Mr. Rudy or myself will answer the questions that you guys may or may not have. Hopefully you got more questions than don'ts. Shout out to the Best Damn crew watching from afar right now. Brian is dealing with some frog in his throat. Brian's got a frog in his throat right now. So shout out to Brian, sending him some strength and healing energy. I'm sure LP is somewhere shooting pictures, and Chef is somewhere cooking up something. Here we go.
You there?
Yep.
I don't know what happened.
I'm not sure. Maybe disconnection.
I don't know. What are we starting?
The last thing I heard was Lane had the briefcase.
Oh yeah. So Joe Blanchard had a Halliburton briefcase, and so that's what the Money in the Bank. If you want some history lesson here, the Money in the Bank case is a Halliburton case. Back in the day, the guys that were on top, the guys that were making money, the over guys would use Halliburton cases. That was kind of like you were making money doing whatever we were doing. So anyway, Joe Blanchard had a Halliburton, and he says, "Walk with me to the car." So I follow him. He opens the trunk of his car, opens the briefcase, and it's just stacks of money. Just the whole bottom part of the case was, and I was like, "Holy cow!" And he gave me some money. He goes, "This is for the ring," and then he gave me some more money. He goes, "Give this to Juan for the gas and for his work and stuff." So I was like, and it was a lot. I think I tried to count it on the way back to my part was $75. I think Juan's was closer to like 200, a little more than $200 probably. I tried to count as I'm walking back. I didn't want to look like a knucklehead, but I was like, So I was like, this is interesting because I really didn't do anything. I mean, putting the ring up really wasn't hard. So when we got back to San Antonio, Juan asked me, "Do you want to help with the ring tomorrow? We're in, I don't remember what town it was." And I said, "Yeah." 18 years old, man, 1982, $75 is a lot of money. When you have nothing, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and then making another, hopefully I was going to make another $75. That would have been $150. So I worked Friday, and then I did Saturday in Austin, Texas, 75. So that was like about $200 $250 or so that I had in my pocket. And I'm like, I think I can do this. But I wasn't even thinking about the wrestling part, though. I just wanted to learn what Joe Blanchard was doing and how he got to do these. Because we weren't doing, like today, you do a wrestling show and you're at the civics, the bingo hall or something, or someone's high school gym or something. Joe Blanchard was running like the Coliseum and large civic centers. And I mean, the Coliseum in Corpus was the same place where they had the pro hockey team. So, I mean, these were big venues, and he was filling them up. The San Antonio Arena, the Hemisphere Arena was where the Spurs played, and he was putting people in these buildings, and I'm like, holy cow. So I didn't go back to college. Joe Blanchard learned I didn't go back. He knew what I was there for, and when he saw that I didn't go back to school, he chewed me out, and he gave me a set of keys and said, "Go mop the buildings." So I had the building that we did our TV show at we did our TV show on Mondays, and if nobody mopped up, it smelled of beer, popcorn, hot dogs, nachos, Frito pies, and stuff. Just smelled. So that's what I did. I didn't get paid for it. If they needed guys to pass out flyers, like today we talk about passing out flyers for shows. I was the only one. So I would pass out flyers. I did whatever I could to to um, to get noticed and to let because when I got out of when I dropped out of school, my parents were pissed. I was on a 2-year scholarship, and Joe's Joe's son Tully went to West Texas State and finished school. Bruiser Brody was there. He went to West Tech. I mean, there are a lot of the wrestlers went to college before they got into wrestling. And then here comes this schmuck, me, and I drop out of school, and so I was in hot water for a while with Joe. Um, in fact, when I told him I wanted to get into I told him I wanted to learn the wrestling business, and he stared at me for it seemed like an hour, but it was probably maybe a minute or so, and it's probably 30 seconds or so. But he said, "Sit down."
Oh, I think we may have lost him again. Oh man, what an amazing story he has so far. While things are being worked out on his end, question from Jan Luther. What's going on, Jan Luther? I will answer this question myself, and then whenever we get Rudy Boy back on, we'll see if he'll answer the question. What is the best match or wrestler you have ever faced? I have to say the best match I've ever been in has to have been. Oh man. Germany. When I went to Germany, wrestling against those guys, having an opportunity to wrestle outside of the country for the very first time, thoroughly enjoyed myself. Had so much fun. I mean, so many people that I've been in the ring with, and I've enjoyed every single match. But the whole factor of going to another country and wrestling and actually going out there and doing my thing had to been the very best time I've ever had in professional wrestling. So I would have to say that. Man, yeah, keep dropping the comments and the questions, and we'll figure out what's going on with Rudy on his side of things. It may be an internet connection or something, but we would get it all figured out because that's what we do right here on the Best Damn Wrestling Podcast. And while we're waiting, we'll go ahead and shout out some of our sponsors out there. Of course, you guys already know Nature Made is out there. So shout out to Nature Made for doing everything that they do for the Best Damn Wrestling Podcast. Let's see. Let's get some more of our sponsors up here. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. While we wait for Boss Man to come back on. While we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and drop this really quick. So if you guys are looking for any type of fitness help, you got some goals in mind, contact me today. I do it virtually, and I do it right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So if you're local to Raleigh, North Carolina, and you need some help with your fitness goals, get in contact with me, and I'll make sure I get you to where you want to be. If you want to become a boxer, contact me. If you want to become a professional wrestler, contact me. If you want to be somebody's mama's favorite wrestler or somebody's mama's favorite fighter and a guy or a woman that can whoop somebody's daddy's ass, I can show you how to do that too. But that's exactly what I do. All right, Let's see if we get Rudy back up here in a second. I'm not sure if Rudy's able to get back on. Let's see, Blue Hearts for Autism. What is a good workout to burn fat fast? Very good question. The best workout right now to burn fat fast is always cardio. Cardio is always going to help you a hell of a lot. And the best kind of cardio is a boxing workout. So if you can put some gloves on, you go to a local gym, they may have a heavy bag. Just don't go in there thinking that you're going to hit hard. It's better to just hit light and fast and keep your body moving. A boxing workout would keep you moving the entire time and works your entire body. So go for a boxing workout and you'll be able to burn fat a lot faster than what you would ever expect. Let's see, when is the next fight you were in? I got a match this Saturday in Raleigh, North Carolina. This Saturday, Raleigh, North Carolina. It would be at Rebus Works for Gouge Professional Wrestling. On the card right now, it is myself versus the Gouge Heavyweight Champion, Waylon Mays. So make sure you guys come on out and check out this amazing fight between myself and the Gouge Heavyweight Champion, Waylon Mays. Other than your open challenge to John Cena, who would you like to fight next? Daniel Bryan. I know he's probably on his way out, but I would love to be able to get in a ring with Daniel Bryan. Claudio, I would love to be able to get in a ring with him. I wish I could have gotten in a ring with Jacob Fatu before he went to WWE, but the cards didn't work out in time for myself and him to be able to step in the ring before he left the Independence. It's everybody. I want to fight everybody. I'm actually thinking about getting back into the boxing ring as well. So I may be able to venture back into that sometime soon. But we'll see what happens. I just got to get me a really good trainer and find some really good promoters to get back into that. And I'm also going to venture back into the MMA world. Been working with a couple of guys, and I have a guy that does MMA that's going to help me get a couple of fights over in the West Coast. So we're going to see what happens with that as well. I think Rudy's connection may have went kaput. So we'll see what happens. Give him a couple minutes, and if he's not able to make it, I'll just send him a message and see if he's able to make it back. If not, then we will have Mr. Rudy Boy Gonzalez back on the show because, man, this man has a story that you all need to hear right here on the Best Damn Wrestling Podcast, because that's what we do. We bring the best, the absolute best interviews anywhere. And I stand on that. I stand 10 toes down on that. All right. Just give you guys a rundown. If you didn't see the show yesterday, you would be able to watch the replay. We had on Maurice Lochner. He is an actor right now. He's been on the Cosby Show. He's worked with Tyler Perry in all his plays. He does a lot of stage plays right now. Let's see, will we see you in a tag team? If the cards work out right, here's the thing about being in a tag team, working with each other's schedule. If you're not legit brothers, or trained in the same school, your schedule is kind of hard to try to keep up with the two of you. Like, I may be available for a weekend somewhere where a tag team partner wouldn't be. So it's kind of hard to kind of schedule. And then you got to think about things such as being able to travel. You know, I can go out the country. If I have a tag partner that doesn't have a passport, you know, it's kind of hard to get that tag partner to go outside of the country or get booked as a tag team outside the country. So would I be in a tag team? Everything is possible in my world. So we'll just see exactly what would happen. If you guys are wondering why my eyes keep coming up, I am watching NXT right now, and it's an amazing match going on between Javon Evans and Wes Lee. And it just showed a clip of Bubba Ray putting on wrist tape. Bubba Ray Dudley and Trick Williams are going to be in a tag match right here tonight on the CW. So if you guys get an opportunity to go watch the replay, you need to watch the Best Damn Rap podcast right now. You don't be watching wrestling. Watch the Best Damn Wrestling podcast right now. And then go back and watch the replay of NXT. And then come back to the Best Damn Wrestling podcast tomorrow or next week and tell us what you thought about the show. But yeah, we had Maurice Lochner on the show yesterday. Coming up, we have Drake Works coming on this Sunday. He was a former WWE. Let's see. Can we do this later? Yeah, let's see, man, on my laptop. He's having issues with his phone, so we will reschedule Mr. Rudy Gonzalez for another evening, ladies and gentlemen. So that is our situation at the moment. So I want to thank everybody for watching thus far. Just stay tuned to the Best Damn Wrestling podcast. Make sure you go to our pages and find out when we will be able to have Rudy Boy and other interviews coming up in the very near future. So in the meantime, in between time, you do your thing and I'll do mine. I want to bid you all adieu.